I would have joked about the recent election with this chapter, like saying how similar it was. But then I remember the candidates and I saved myself from hitting a wall of fail. I still couldn't believe that there was a thought of this series ending this year, because we wouldn't be able to attain scenes like these in a rush pacing manner. It's something that needed a lot of time to exploit the way Sorochi wanted to create, and this chapter was no exception. It was something that I didn't know, that I wanted a flashback from Prince Hata out of all people, yet I was surprised to be compelled by the flashback as well as the revelation towards the end. It was a really good chapter. The backstory of Prince Hata was done with a mix of comedy and plays itself like a serious moment. It reminds me of the way how parody movies were once smart and hilarious when you can blend the comical aspect with the tone of drama. For example, hearing something like, "I can't run away, they tied my shoelaces together," and the response goes, "Those bastards," in a serious tone. It's funny because of its narrative. In case in point, this chapter was essentially like that. Planet Okaku needed the next king as the current one was dying. It did start off in a less laughing manner. It was getting a bit political. I was stunned to see Prince Hata in his young look, looking like a very nice person. When you think about it, as much as he loves animals today, he is rotten to humans. So you can't argue that he has been rotten, and his current design pretty much described as such. It turns out that he has a brother named Barkas who is strong and has a strong sense of leadership. However, there was one problem. His chinko was so small in compare. This was when the comedy aspect kicked in, but more of the way of reading rather than seeing. This was actually funny to read through, especially the fact that chinko, that antenna, is Sorochi's way of that race manhood. It's even funnier on how they are elaborating on a serious note, which the series knows its way of toning the scene. It's not the fact that it takes it serious. It knows the narrative's approach as well as staying true to the series' nature. Even that brief history of the great king Dragonia, who was strong and have a large chinko, good god, was funny since he was tough to be taken out, only for his chinko to get tied and send him down to the cliff. I think what made it interesting was the fact that despite on how funny it was told, it was also rather amusing on how the politics works without going deep, or rather act deep. It all based on one thing over anything else, which means biased view played a role. It's equivalent to a man who is rich and friendly will win the leadership over a man who has tons of experience to lead us to the battlefield. The overview of the old king was funny yet conflicting, as the people only saw him as a good king due to his chinko size and nothing else. This was cleverly done by Sorochi. Hatas and Barkos met each other at the gravesite, feeling conflicted on their position since one won by tradition. I was wondering on how we even got this flashback, only to transition to where Katsura has Hata on a sleeper hold, closing to death. That was well played. Once again, Katsura shined in this chapter after that blunder, as he managed to come out with a good idea that even Sakamoto couldn't believe of what they were hearing. That's what I like about Katsura. He can be so random and an idiot, but when it gets serious, he really speaks out like a true leader. It's one way to avoid an unnecessary large-scale battle if they were to become a human alliance. If they can pull it off, the war will change the tide faster than before. The conflict grows worse, as many of them don't want to agree with that idea. It only tells me that the political people from that planet are spoiled, especially the fact Hata's servant backstabs him. Perhaps Hata became like that because of him or politicians. It was great to see Madao back up and close to reunited with Katsura, bringing the sensation of Gintama arc. It gets more problematic, however, with Don, the one who wanted Barkers as the king, appears and trying to reclaim control. It is shockingly intriguing that this scenario is all based on Hata, the Baka prince, and I was really into it. The visual was done mix of comical moments with a tone of seriousness, such as the history of Dragonia. It reminds me of The Incredibles with the no cape idea. The flashback sequences had a nice narrative flow with a good comedy and drama. Usually I would have thought it's a nice side story and should have been done elsewhere, but it was compelling that managed to blend into the main story. The last shot was funny yet awesome at the same time. The chapter ends with Shijaku is in fact Barkus. I should have known for his cool design. Seriously though, it was a clever twist because of his design. When looking at the race from the flashback, you get the sense that you may have seen it from someone else. The hint was the ears, yet Hata has his covered. It was the matter of connecting the dot before the reveal. When we look at the other characters, the Chinko still remains small, yet Shijaku had it covered in that very spot. I applaud at the narrative with two princes that are best in their world, as combining them will bring out the true king. It takes two to tango. It was a really good ending with a really good end to the flashback. I was really entertained with this chapter that should have been just decent. However, it requires a smart writer to handle in a way that many can appreciate its time. It has a really good flashback, interesting development for the humans to gain a stronghold, and the ending that is comical yet nice payoff to the overall narrative. It was something that I didn't know that I wanted this. It's really good to know that Sorochi is given a lot of time to exploit more of his character. I'm giving this chapter an 8. Now that Shijaku has exposed as the other prince, perhaps now they will work together and become an alliance against the Liberation Army. We are seeing more development outside of Earth that was soon to connect and pay off greatly. It's the war that everything counts, and it's going to be exhilarating to see when everyone is reunited. My thoughts are told, don't let yours on hold. Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.